Welcome back to the Cracked Mug. Today we're making coffee cake. Coffee cake finds its origins in Germany, Holland, Scandinavia in the middle of the 17th century. Even in Ireland we have a yeasted fruit bread as well called barmbrack, which is very popular around Halloween, but more on that some other time. One of the first known recipes in the United States was published in 1887. In a book, Buckeye Cookery, called Practical Housekeeping. The book was made by women for women. The book is dedicated to the plucky housewives of 1876, who master their work instead of allowing it to master them. Different times, my friends. That coffee cake was also made with tea or coffee in it. There was no mention of streusel that we have come to love today. The first mention of streusel wasn't until 1887, when some clever person decided to put the two together, and it worked. Baking in the 1870s was difficult. We have no idea how lucky we have it today with our wonderful stoves and ovens. Back in the day of wood-burning ovens, the way to guess the temperature of your oven would be if you could put your hand into the oven and hold it there for 20 to 35 seconds, it was considered a quick oven. If you could hold it in there for 35 to 45 seconds, it was called a moderate oven. And if you could hold it in there for 45 to 60 seconds, it was a slow oven. We are so lucky. It's an enduring, lovely, easy to make coffee cake. So, come on, let's get in the kitchen and make some coffee cake. Into a bowl we're going to add 6 ounces, 170 grams of unsalted butter. This is at room temperature, so it is quite soft, which is a good way to begin. 10.5 ounces, that will be 300 grams of sugar. Regular granulated sugar. We are going to cream these together. That will take 3 to 5 minutes. You can also use a handheld mixer for this. So that was 4 minutes. And it is a lovely light color and it is fluffy. Into a bowl, add 11 ounces, that's 312 grams of cake flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, half a teaspoon of baking soda, and half a teaspoon of salt. Best to sieve these. Little mix up. Okay, here I have 3 large eggs. I'm going to beat them slightly. To our butter mixture, let's add 1 egg at a time. Beat until it's completely incorporated. Clean the side of your bowl after each additional egg. Egg number 2. Usually around egg number 3 we get some curdling or separation. Let's see. Okay, that's the second egg in there. Still holding together. A separation occurs, which is when the butter can't take any more water, and that's the water in the eggs. And then it separates. If that happens, we're just going to use some flour to bring it back together again. And I've tried every old wives' tale. I've had everything at warm temperature, different temperatures. If it's going to curdle, it's going to curdle. That's life. We just keep moving on. All right, egg number 3. The risky part. However, just to help me out here, I am going to add a teaspoon or 2 of my flour. That's 2 rounded teaspoons. So a tablespoon. And off we go. Nice and slow first. And look at that, it didn't split. Amazing. Clean your bowl and your beater paddle. It's a New Year miracle. I'll take it. All right, let's move on. It's kind of funny we talk about water in with eggs, and now we're about to add a load of sour cream. Oh well. All right, to the bowl we're going to add 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla extract. Here I have 9 ounces of full-fat sour cream. That's 265 grams. That also goes in. Low speed until it's incorporated. Beautiful. Clean your bowl. I've put the splash guard on because adding flour can be really messy. So, with the mixer running low, we're just going to add all our flour mixture. All right, let's just check and see how that's doing. Clean your bowl. We just barely want to get all the flour incorporated. And that really looks quite lovely. All right, let's set this aside for a minute. Let's make some streusel to the same bowl I just used for the flour for the cake. Who needs more washing up? I am going to add 2.2 ounces of light brown sugar, that's 65 grams. 2.5 ounces of all-purpose flour, that's 75 grams. 1.5 teaspoons of cinnamon. Here I have 1.5 ounces of butter, that's 43 grams. It's cold. I cut it up into little pieces. And 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Just a little stir, break up that sugar. It should be soft, not hard. Clean hands, get in there, and we are going to push that butter through it, almost like you're making pastry. Just keep waking the butter up, and in a minute you will have streusel. Since we are adding nuts, which are optional, I prefer to get my hands in here now without the nuts in it yet. I love this part of the cake. I think everyone loves this part of the coffee cake. It smells lovely, that cinnamon. So it just takes a minute, and then you'll end up with a really nice streusel. To that, I'm adding 95 grams, that's 3.3 ounces of chopped walnuts. I like walnuts. You could use pecans as well. So we're just going to stir that in. You see, it would have been harder to get the butter in there had the nuts been in. All right, so into our bun pan, we're going to put half our mixture because we are going to have streusel in the center as well. Spread that around. Here we're adding half of our streusel. That's good. Then we just top it off with the rest of our cake batter. I'm just going to scoop it down for now, and we'll spread it out in just a moment. Just spread it out and cover up our streusel. Now this pan I sprayed with Pam, actually, which has flour in it. You can also just grease it with a little bit of butter and add some flour. And to the top of that, we're going to add the rest of our streusel. In the end, this is going to be the bottom of the cake because we have a bourbon maple glaze to go on top. Let's pop that into our preheated oven, which is 350 degrees Fahrenheit, 176 Celsius. It's going to take 50 to 60 minutes to cook. It will be ready when a skewer comes out clean. See you soon. It has been 50 minutes. I'm just going to test it. I have a knife right here. You can use a skewer, but it should come out clean. That is clean. That was 50 minutes. Beautiful setup there on that crust. We are going to let this cool down, and in the meantime we will get our bourbon maple glaze going on. It smells delicious, by the way. This has been resting in the pan for about 10 minutes, and the pan is still super hot. This is a very thick pan, so I'm going to invert it, hopefully without making a mess, onto a plate where the top will become the bottom. All right, here we go. I heard a drop. What a beautiful color on this. It really is gorgeous. We'll give it a few minutes and we'll work on our maple glaze. Yay! For our lovely bourbon maple glaze, I have 4 tablespoons, it's 56 grams of unsalted butter, 3 tablespoons, that's 44 milliliters of pure maple syrup. It smells lovely. It's about to smell a lot better. And to that, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons, about 29-30 milliliters of a nice bourbon. We are going to put this into the microwave just to get that butter melted, and we can mix this up nicely, maybe 30-second increments. Actually, that took just 1 minute. It smells divine. To that, we're just going to add half a teaspoon of vanilla extract, a pinch of salt. It'll mix up, and then we'll add our sugar. Here I'm using powdered sugar, and we have 1.5 cups, which is 180 grams. And we're going to begin to add that, and we're going to mix and mix until there are no lumps. All right, keep mixing until you have a lovely smooth glaze. No powdered sugar at all. Looking gorgeous. Oh yes. Still quite warm. Going to let that sit for 1 minute before I pour it over our lovely coffee cake, which I did decide to put on a cake stand. Easier for me. I put a little wax paper around the edge because I will make a mess, so it'll make cleanup easier. I could have drizzled this over using the whisk that I used, but I want a tiny bit more control. I expect to do 2 coats here. So now, the cake is still a little warm, so I expect enough. And I'm not overdoing it right here because it is still so soft. First coating. We'll be back. The last coat. And this is really thick as it's cooling down. If you find your glaze gets too thick, pop in the microwave 10-second intervals, which is perfectly fine. I really want a thick little top coat. And because I have them, I'm going to sprinkle just a few nuts on top of this. These are the walnuts. I'm back. All right, this cake is beautiful. It is, I can tell, it's moist. I love the idea of bourbon maple. All right, let's give this a try. So I'm going straight for the bottom where I have all that lovely streusel and some in the middle too. Let's go. Pardon me. The streusel is beautiful. The crunch of that nut with the cinnamon, perfect. It is a wonderful tea cake, great with tea, coffee, or maybe there happens to be extra bourbon left over. Enjoy yourself. You only live once. All right, one more bite of this because I'm after that glaze. Happy, happy, joy, joy. It is gorgeous. I just want to sit here and devour the whole thing. Anyway, there you have it. A everyday, well, if I were to do something differently, which I would the next time with this particular cake, is, even though it looks pretty, I wouldn't have turned it upside down and put the maple glaze on this side. I'd have left it the other way up with all the streusel on top and then just drizzled maple glaze just haphazardly all over it. Oh my goodness, there is a pool in the middle, as you saw in the video, of that bourbon maple glaze. Oh my God, put a spoon of that on some vanilla ice cream. It would be incredible. So yeah, perfectly easy cake to make. You can do it for sure. And if you do, let me know in the comments how it turned out and if you enjoyed it. Thank you, as always, for your support. Please check out my website that is growing, that's thecrackmug.net. And until next time, mind yourself. Bye.